What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Trader Brad. We're here again. It's a wonderful Tuesday, August 22nd. The markets are moving, sadly, to the downside. Once again, another red day. I think yesterday was not a red day, so I don't know why I said once again. But we did get another red day on Bitcoin, on the cryptocurrency markets, which is still pushing to the downside. Not looking good over there. And the QQQ and the SPY market was green to start off the day with, but at the end of the day pulled right back into yesterday's closes and turned red at some point and stuck to being red. And that's the way the market goes. You know, we got a couple earning stocks on board. As you guys can look at the title, we got LZBY, Urban Outfitters, Peloton tomorrow morning, a bunch of other stocks in the pre-market. Tomorrow we have the biggest name probably for the week coming out, NVIDIA, in the after hours. So we'll go through some of these stocks over here in the after hours session. Look at who I'm just looking at after hours really drops, or Urban Outfitters really drop right now in the after hours. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna go through all stocks. We're gonna go through some of the trade ideas, find some levels to trade out of, maybe some opportunities for us to put some money in our own pockets, and any way to laugh straight to the bank with it, right? So let's go right into the charts over here, because Urban Outfitters is making a little bit of a move to the downside apparently. At least that's what we're seeing on Trading View at the moment. I can go confirm that on perhaps on trade ideas here, URBN. See if they are dropping to the downside on URBN over here or not. Let's go to the 5-minute. They did initially drop a pop back up apparently on the trade ideas software, but the Urban Outfitters over here, this could also be on like really low volume, right? Really low volume. The numbers are supposed to come out, if I remember correctly, 405. So numbers might not be out just yet on Urban Outfitters, but a little bit of a move to the downside incoming. Hola, says Paula. I mean, maybe I could record Katrine for one of those things for myself and use that. But no, yeah, I do miss Katrine. I was there hanging out with her on last Friday. You know, we were hugging it out. We were talking about how much we missed each other's company, how much we missed how I won't be able to work there anymore. So if Miss Katrine is watching this, you know, this is a little shout out to you, and I do need to bring you on to my podcast over here one day. So whenever you're free, Miss Katrine, come join me on the real Pradcast this time, not the other Pradcast that you were on before, but the real Pradcast, where we can be a little bit more open, do whatever we really want, and get into the nice questions that we want to. But coming back to the market here, ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple stocks to take a look at. Obviously, we got Peloton, pull the sweaters. The sweaters? What does that mean? The sweaters? Let's see, what is that? What would you just say? My chat's bugging out. Come on. There's like a little symbol here. Not sure what that symbol is blocking my view for. Pull the sweaters off the Peloton. The sweaters off the Peloton. What's that mean? Does that mean like get ready to fight? Take that sweater off. Get ready to fight for Peloton. Look, Peloton's been beat down quite a bit. It's hard to be bearish on the stock now after the big moves that is already dropped down to. Now it's maybe time to think about a possible buy in the future. But once again, you know, we still need to see. Are they going to fix those issues that they've been having? And stop calling yourself a technology play, right? That was the biggest thing that peed me off on Peloton, was don't call yourself a technology play when you are nothing but an iPad glued to a goddamn bike. So don't call yourself a tech play and end up being a $120 stock. That was my biggest beef on this bad boy over here. You're doing something different, all good, bro. People don't use it. Shorts already. Yeah, people don't use Peloton. Some people do use Peloton, right? We're not gonna deny it. They are people, but the question is, how many do use it? Is the price that they're asking for it justified? Can't you just get the job done with a cheaper price bike? Is the hype behind it that was there still there? The other questions you want to be asking is, did you fix the treadmill issue that they had? that you know, sadly we lost a child in that period. So you want to be careful with Peloton. Obviously, I'm never really bullish on Peloton. It's hard for me to be bullish on Peloton, but if you are looking at some levels, I mean, look at that beautiful 52-week being held every time. The 52-week low is $6.62, and the stock is unable to push below that, no matter how many bad earnings we get. No matter, like 1, 2, 3. I'll even include this one, 4 earnings so far, and we're not able to break the 52-week low, which also is the all-time low right here. If you zoom out, you'll see the all-time low is still 662, and the 52-week low is 662. So if tomorrow's earnings comes out good, maybe you can, you know, you have a great risk to reward long off of this level, right back to the north side. But if tomorrow's earnings report comes out poo-poo, then obviously you're looking for a possible retest off that 52-week low. And maybe this time we actually do break the 52-week low and run much lower on Peloton. So that's a question over there that you have to think about, right? It's a pretty easy trade if you think about it. Your risk is defined, your reward is also defined, and your reward kind of opens up based on the catalyst that comes out tomorrow, and your risk opens up too. Obviously, if you're bag holding. If you're not bag holding and you stick to your risk management, you stick to your rules, which is if the stock probably, you know, maybe breaks 650. If it breaks 650, you probably say, I'm done with this trade. I'm no longer holding it to the downside, because it could just keep on going down on a negative earnings report. But for the last 4 earnings report, some people might just say 3. I'm going to include this one over here. For the last 4 earnings report, we haven't seen anything lower than $6.62 on this position. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for Peloton. You should see a decent amount of volume coming in tomorrow with the earnings in the pre-market. Decent amount of volume in itself today, a nice little bump right before earnings coming in for Peloton. You know, average 10-day volume is 8.5, today 14. I think tomorrow we could see anywhere up to 20 to 25 to 30 million shares coming in, especially if we do get into new ranges for the stock to burn some of the shorts or burn some of the longs after the stop's getting burnt out. So we'll have some fun with this position tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing how that long plays out over here. I also really quickly want to go to another stock where I was really bullish at this 52-week low level was Penn National. Penn National, obviously we were bullish about it for that ESPN catalyst that they had, the ESPN bet catalyst. I said if they do break this 52-week low, you want to be careful, and now we're seeing a little bit of resistance coming in at 52-week low. The stock's not able to actually you know, close above the previous 52-week low after making a new 52-week low. At this point, I would have probably considered closing my position for that long and taking a loss on it. So if anyone did take that long based on my you know, called out my sentiment, I'm also going to say, hey, this would be a loss right here. You take that loss, move on from it. But if we see buying coming back in over here, I might look for a second or third entry based on how the volume steps in, if the buying comes back in or not. Positive earnings report overall, positive catalyst of ESPN and Disney deal. Not sure why they are you know, crumbling again one more time over here to the downside. It just goes on to show that DraftKings and you know, what's the other one, FanDuel, just have such a big market share in these businesses that it's gonna be hard, or it's gonna be challenging for Penn State. It's gonna be challenging to see how Penn is going to fight that deal, and especially now no longer Barstool being part of Penn National, which was a big part of their brand. They're going to have to rely on ESPN helping them on the brand side. So we'll see what happens over there. Toll Brothers, yeah, I mean, we could go to Toll Brothers. They did have earnings today, but did they move around? I think they come out with earnings at 4:30. Yeah, they come out at 4:30. No movement just yet on Toll Brothers. Might have to wait a little bit on this one, but based on here's a real quick for Urban Outfitters, because we're gonna go to Urban Outfitters right next. Urban Outfitters 7.9% expected to the upside or to the downside, but if we go to Toll Brothers here real quick, Toll Brothers earnings expected, implied volatile move, blah blah blah, is a 5.1% move, expecting a bump up to 80 bucks or a drop down of 72 on Toll whenever the numbers do come out. Looks like we did get a little bit of a run in the after hours on light volume, but that could have just been a fake move. But Urban Outfitters is what we wanted to head over to next. Here's Urban Outfitters. We did drop down. We also pop right back up, and now we're trying to run up north, up 2.7%, almost 3% up on the day now, compared to how the stock actually played out throughout the intraday itself. You know, I was surprised when I pulled up Urban Outfitters before going live and seeing the stock was, you know, battered down on the day. So I thought somebody knows something. Maybe the numbers aren't as good as, you know, what people are expecting them to be. That's why the stock is sold off. Yeah, the market was red on the day too. Apple's actually green on the day. Google's green on the day. PayPal's green on the day. Microsoft's green on the day. So did QQQ end up green on the day? No, QQQ still red, 0.14 down on the day for QQQ, and S&P 500, if I remember correctly, 0.3, 0.2. So the markets are red, but but the QQQ sector's top 3 stocks are green. Not sure how that works out. Nvidia down on the day today, sadly. We did get a break of the all-time high. We were talking about that level. You know, it's hard not to expect that move towards the all-time high and a short off of the all-time high. I know we called that trade out for you guys yesterday. Hopefully you took that trade. It ran exactly up to the all-time highs, giving you a little bit of a break off the all-time high off the open here. Right, this is a brand new all-time high being established, and then coming right back in through that all-time high, multiple dollars per share short for anyone who took advantage of this Nvidia trade. Tesla gave you a pretty decent reversal back on the day too, after that insane move that I had yesterday. So pretty decent reversal back down, but still ended up green on the day for Tesla. At one point we were red, but we managed to close slightly above yesterday's close. My box's colors are probably throwing you off, so ignore that one. Nvidia though, red on the day. Tesla slightly green on the day over here after yesterday's monster rally of 5%, if I remember accurately. We were looking for mainly this Nvidia trade, so I'm very happy watching it play out exactly, picture perfectly. We also nail the high over here later on, kind of triple top high later on in the day near $460. So it looks like that 460 area coming back into play as a level one more time on. Wait, where does that come from? Does that 460 come from that trend line? It does come from that trend line. Wow. Not that I would use it, but it comes from that trend line. Okay, so we'll see if that trend line gets respected tomorrow. Do we trade under 460? Do we trade between 450 and 460 tomorrow on Nvidia? That'll be something to look out for. A couple other stocks on my watch list over here comes from actually earnings reports pre-market today, like Macy's. What else do I have over there? Macy's, Lowe's, Baidu's, DKS, BJ, Zoom from last night. So we'll take a bunch of these stocks right now. We'll go through these stocks, see how they moved, and see if we can find any trades on it. Macy's giving you a new 52-week low right off the bat on a quick glance over here. So let's pin the previous 52-week low. Let's pin the current 52-week low on this bad boy. Pin the current 52-week low. Usually what I like to do when the prices are so close after pinning them is draw the box around it, so you will kind of get a range, an idea, a range, how much to maybe give the stock a leeway or a wiggle room on this stock on Macy's, especially if you're looking to go long around this 1250 area. You know, maybe you want to give it 20-30 cents of risk, maybe even give it all the way to $12 for that risk over there. But I wouldn't really do that as a day trader. But if you're as a swing trader, maybe something to look for as Macy's on positive earnings report gives you a 14% drop, triggering SSR and going to a brand new 52-week low, barely any bounces in this position today. So maybe looking, I will say, yes, I'm looking for a long in this position. I'm looking for a long over here off this 52-week low area. Being on SSR day 2, we might just be able to get a decent bounce back up north. And we've seen Macy's bounce off these areas multiple times before. These levels comes back in again 2020 COVID lows, I guess, right here, the 2020 right before. No, these are the COVID lows actually. The $4 area where Macy's got really hammered. But I don't know if we go back there. Do we? No, there's no way Macy's goes back there unless there's another lockdown. Dun dun dun. Which people in my Discord were talking about that. They're like, apparently San Francisco has had a lockdown and people were rioting. I didn't even know about that, if that's true. I know for sure if there's another lockdown, because COVID cases are going up, people are not going to be happy with it. There's going to be riots, and people are going to go absolutely crazy. I personally not gonna go crazy. I'm already a homebody anyways. I stay indoors most of the time, so I don't really care about lockdowns or not. But I'm telling you right now, based on how previous lockdowns went, people are not gonna like another one. So Macy's over here, if another lockdown's incoming, then obviously you could expect that $4, $8 drop down there. But tomorrow I'm looking for a bounce on Macy's, looking for a bounce off this 52-week low area to see if we can get help with that SSR trigger mechanic coming in, taking Macy's right back to the north side a little bit, expecting maybe a 5% bounce at least tomorrow. Let's see what happens on Macy's. Another stock that moved around quite a bit on earnings was, I believe, Baidu. Let's go see if Baidu moved around quite a bit. Only 2%. Not much of a move on Baidu, and this stock whips around quite a bit. Not too much of volume incoming most of the time anyways. With earnings in play, you might see a little bit of an elevated volume, but it's gonna die right back, especially if the move wasn't a lot behind it. I think there's still a lot of fears of China and USA going on right now, so you might want to be careful trading the Chinese sector. Let's go to Zoom, because Zoom obviously originally popped up in the after hours last night. That was the after hour move last night, but we sold off everything and moved right back to that $63 area today. Was very, very shocked watching this move come in. We were talking about that possible trade-off of 70. Remember, anyone who was actually tuned into the Zoom trade after hours while we were talking about it, we were looking for a Zoom to hold off in front of 70, and I repeated it again and again and again. I said, I'm looking for Zoom to hold in front of 70 at the end of the after hour session, which is 8 o'clock, and we did not manage to do that. We pushed much under 70 before 8 o'clock and actually closed under 70 after 8. And then your pre-market session starts. Your pre-market session shows you the same resistance again off that $70 area, and just immediate push down. The conference call not being good. The CEO probably said some bad things in the paper over there for Zoom. Sad, because we were looking for that long off of 70. We were talking about the long off of 70, did not give you the long off of 70. We did not even get a chance to short 70 unless you were up at what, 4 o'clock? Right? We did not even get a chance to short for 70 area. So no trade at the end of the day for me on Zoom today. I wasn't even able to trade on options on this one. I was waiting for that $70 so much. But at the end of the day, we are looking at the $63/$60 area most likely coming back into play. Let's see if buyers, like they did at that 63, held that position beautifully, like pinned that level. Where's that Prastradamus? Boom. Pinned that level to the dot over there on that stock. The low of day 59, and we have a line at 55. Bounce off of that area, looking for more buyers to probably step in around these areas, and we retest that 70 incoming very soon. Let's see if Zoom can go back to that 70 and give us that test. Okay, that's what I'm looking forward for on this bad boy. The next one, I believe we're gonna head over to another retail stock over here. Lowe's actually ended up a nice 3% to the upside, brought in a good amount of elevated volume too. Average 10-day volume 2 million shares, today's volume 4 4 million shares, but right in that range where we wanted the stock to break out of. We talked about this range. We wanted the stock to break out of it, but we did not get that break out of that range. Positive earnings report at the end of the day. Why is that one screwed up? Thank you. Positive earnings report at the end of the day. Very slight miss on the revenue side. I think that's fine. This one, you also want to watch home builders numbers, building permits, and so on. Kind of like Home Depot, Lowe's and Home Depot sometimes react off of those numbers. Also Lennar, like home builders, basically all move from those numbers too. So you might want to watch those important economic numbers whenever they drop. I think that they might not drop this week. Let's go see. Yeah, they did drop today actually. Existing home sales. Tomorrow, do we have building permits? We do have building permits, so watch out for another catalyst for Lowe's and a Home Depot to move around tomorrow along with these. I think Home Depot might have actually used Lowe's as somewhat of a piggyback ride to go up to the north side a little bit themselves. Yeah, they were up 0.13%. If we were to zoom in on the chart, see if their chart looked anything like Lowe's. Not really, but pretty much there's a drop first and then they settle sideways. And then Lowe's, there's a drop first and then they settle sideways. Pretty much copying Lowe's move over there at the end of the day, but Lowe's at a much higher price move or much higher percentage move than Home Depot, because that's the stock with the catalyst behind it. So we're looking forward to see if the stock can give us that breakout of that 227 area and start pushing into a new higher range over here, going back to that 237 area. Is that the all-time high? It is not the all-time high, but go back to somewhere around this 237s or so after showing us that there was enough of a push to get above this monthly peak of 223. This monthly peak right here, 223 area, which has clearly been a problem for the stock, we're now able to get back over it. That's a very bullish sign in my indication, especially off that earnings report. Let's see how that building permit numbers help out LOW. From here, let's go to another retail stock, DKS. 24%? What happened here? DKS got smoked, absolutely lit up on fire over here. 24%, big miss on earnings, I guess. Monster boost on volume. Look at that volume candle on the daily chart. Absolutely dwarfs every other candle before it. If you hide that one volume candle, see how all these volume candles kind of pop up a little bit. That 9 million candle gets absolutely dwarfed by that 20 million shares being traded today. That big spike in volume and a drop in price is a clear indication that the longs and the bulls are punching for an exit out. But when you see the opposite of that, when the stock price is going down or the index price is going down but the volume is actually not getting increased, then it doesn't, it's obviously a red day on the market, but it doesn't mean that the longs are scared and they're running for the exit stage left or whatever, right? So if we go back to DKS over here, monster drop down. I might need to read more on the reports over here because I didn't get to. Actually, I do have a right here, I think. DKS. Wow, they didn't cover DKS on oh, there you go. Retail stock tumbled on a rare earnings miss and slashed guidance for the full year. That explains it. Due in part to the uptick in store theft. Okay. Earnings per share for its fiscal second quarter was 2.82, far short of the 3.81. Big miss. Revenue was 3.22 compared to 3.24. Not that much of a miss over there on that side, but slashing their full year guidance, missing 25% on earnings per share. Their shareholders are obviously not happy with this bad boy. Yes, Pratt and CEO blamed it on shoplifting. As soon as I read that, that was pretty odd to read that. I was like, I don't know if you can be blaming it on shoplifting. But if you do see, I mean, you're watching all these, Instagram and TikTok videos of of people going into the stores, robbing stores, and the store owners not being able to do anything at all. So maybe the CEO is not wrong, but are you telling me all your stores are getting robbed? If that's the case, why don't you have a tighter security that stops sketchy looking people going inside to begin with? Right? So maybe you need to tighten up your security over there or something. But DKS, slashing their full year guidance, dropping back into these range lows over here. Once again, coming back in. I think we're gonna see more selling. When you see a big volume spike like that, I mean, here's an example of UPST, right? UPST, big volume candle. Stock moves down, unable to get back above that $35 price, which I've been waiting for so long. Roblox didn't really have that big of, okay, it did. Roblox did have a big volume candle, dropped down in price, and ever since that day struggled to really push back in, and now we're marching right back to the 52-week low, which I believe is an all-time low. No, not all-time low. Is that the all-time low? 2165, is that the all-time low on no, it's not the all-time low, but heading towards the 52-week low. So that looks pretty much exact copy of that move over here. If you look at it, patterns repeat themselves. That's why people use these bear flag pattern, bull flag pattern, triangle pizza pattern. You also have the greatest pattern you'll ever see. Where does that pattern go? Did I delete it? Was it on UPST? What happened to my seahorse pattern? No! I guess I deleted my seahorse pattern trying to put down these new lines over here. Rest in peace, the seahorse pattern. But you guys get the idea. Patterns repeat themselves, and it's because there's actual science and actual psychology and the behavioral that goes behind the trades in the market. That's what moves the market around. So DKS, I think we'll see more selling coming in, maybe a little bit of a relief bounce tomorrow, but looking for more selling, expecting the stock to start going back down to 104, 105 eventually. DKS get some puts ready on this bad boy. Monster sell-off. Target said the same thing last month. Target will say anything they can to save themselves. Okay, let's be real about that. Target will do anything they can. Here's something that I put down. I don't know why I put that arrow there. Not sure why that arrow is there, I'll be honest. So let's just move it. Probably from one of the old streams back in the day. Can't remember why that one's there. But here's the 52-week low on Target. With the retail stocks kind of getting hurt, Target has been bringing on pain for themselves. They've been signing up for that themselves, honestly. So more pain incoming over here with other retail stocks going down. Recently, earnings reports came out apparently for Target. If I remember correctly, yeah, I think was I working for Trader TV when Target earnings came out? I can't remember right now. August 16th. No, I wasn't. I was doing the show here. How come I can't remember talking about Target? Oh, maybe it was a pre-market stock. See, we knew it. Pre-market stock, that's what it was. We weren't able to cover the earnings move for it during the day. Or during the stream at least. Man, there is a new hot girl in town in Trader TV Live. Don't care. The seahorse pattern. Yes, the seahorse pattern. Next stock we're going to head over to from Target. We didn't even have Target on plan. It is BJ. BJ did have earnings, but how did they move today? I'm expecting down along with DKS, even if they announced somewhat good. Yeah, they missed on earnings per share. They missed on revenue. They missed on EPS over here. And the DKS still going to the downside, sadly, not looking good over there. I mean, not DKS, BJ, another, retail store, not looking good, still pushing down. 52-week low around these areas. I don't think we go all the way down there unless there's a replicated move in coming from DKS tomorrow a little bit. This is do they sell sports specifically like DKS? No, right? television, electronics, furnitures, yeah, a lot of it, not just sports like DKS. So I think they can do a little bit better and find some buyers coming in around these areas. Obviously, you have to look at the earnings report a little bit more, dive into a little bit more deeper, and really look at the numbers to see if the earnings report is good. But just off of technicals over here, it looks like we're still respecting that trend line at the bottom end of the trend line, kind of something like that right there, respecting the bottom end of the trend line. Still, we are the 50 period EMA is below the 100 period EMA, basically showing you the trend is to the downside at the moment. The blue should be the 100. Yeah, the blue should be below the 50, but it looks like the 50 wants to cross over the 100, right? It looks like the 50 wants to cross over the 100, and we can start going over to the uptrend. But at the moment, we are in a downtrend ever since this area crossover, and the stock might just continue going to another downtrend on this earnings report that we just recently got. So we'll see what happens. Love Prad's energy, says Lily's grandma. Thank you, Lily's grandma. I appreciate it. It's hard doing everything by yourself. It's hard clicking all these buttons. I might need to make that animation a little bit faster. And it's hard to like do those animations yourself too, and talk for a whole hour yourself, finding stocks and doing everything. So I appreciate everyone that comes out, watches me, spends that extra time of your hour or for your day, you're doing whatever it is that you do. Spend it with your boy Trader Prad. Means a lot to me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go from BJ to PayPal. We talked about, possible, hello, where are my lines at? There we go. We talked about possible final bottom incoming on PayPal. So is this it? That's the question. Is this the bottom on PayPal? PayPal previously, was just heading to destruction world, period. That's the only way to put it. Then thankfully, Papa Kramer, I shouldn't call him Papa Kramer, Jim Cramer comes out and goes, I don't want to be invested in PayPal anymore. And then PayPal also has another catalyst, comes out and says, we have a new CEO from Intuit Holdings, I guess is their brand name. And their new CEO is going to be PayPal CEO at the moment. So I'm looking for, that to be a positive catalyst, the inverse Jim Cramer effect to be a positive catalyst, and PayPal to possibly, start returning back to the north side a little bit. Obviously, where I am situated in this position for the long term, my average price, aka, is $119, so quite a bit of a far ways to the north side over there. At the moment, any relief rallies allow me to scalp a couple pennies on the day trade, on the swing trades, on the option side. I'll take it. So the long through that 59, 50, 60 area is looking good. Looking for the targets coming back in at the previous 52-week low ranges, somewhere around over here. And the support to come in around the 52-week low range at the moment, which is 57 to 58, $59 areas on PayPal. Keep watching for that move over there on those bad boy. We covered all of these stocks. Let's go back to Toll Brothers, because their earnings are supposed to be coming out anytime right now, actually, 4:30. They should have already dropped. We're not really seeing too much of a move. They originally popped up to 78 and didn't really see anything happen too much past that. There was a little bit of a spike in volume over here. Volume might actually be coming in right now on TOL. Here's our after hours scanner. So look at that, Urban Outfitters, NXT. Are you an earnings play, NXT? You are not an earnings play, but apparently you moved around quite a bit. What is this? ORI, not an earnings play, but moved around a little bit with barely any volume, I guess. HKD, no, we're not looking at HKD. Shut up. ICPT, moving to the downside apparently. I want to go to the anchored VWAP scanner over here. Let's go to the anchored VWAP scanner. Show you guys the beauty of the power of trade ideas. Use code PRAD15 to get 15% off, obviously. The power of trade ideas. The scanner was, I guess, built directly by Michael Noss and Brian Shannon himself, the guy who wrote the book about anchored VWAP. So looking at a couple stocks right off the bat that, we were not probably looking at earlier. McDonald's, year to date, anchored VWAP on McDonald's. So let's go to the daily chart. Year-to-date anchored view up on McDonald's. Might show you some possible support around this area at the moment. Previously, we had Valeria on the stream, and she talked to us about how, she misses McDonald's. So long McDonald's just off of that support reason over there. All jokes aside, though, hey, McDonald's, I believe, did have a positive earnings report. Let's go quickly back over here. MCD. Zoom out. Hello. Go to the 1-year chart. There we go. Recently did have earnings report. Next one's coming out in 63 days. Positive earnings report, but pulling back down to support areas. Double bottom over here at the moment. We'll see if that double bottom can be held. And the year-to-date, once again, year-to-date anchored VWAP is showing you possible supports could come in around the same areas. J&J kind of looking like a support area coming in, but keep in mind J&J and Kenvue, they have a whole different deal going on at the moment. J&J spun off Kenvue off of their books. S&P 500 is going to be adding Kenvue to their indexes, and then you have J&J, which is going to get decreased from their index. So a little bit of rebalancing in the S&P 500 portfolio coming in. It will be fun to see how big of a ad Kenvue will be on their books over there for the S&P 500. But from what I've seen, the numbers do look pretty gigantic. The numbers look gigantic. Might be something to keep your eyes out over there. So J&J, this year-to-date VWAP at the moment, I would not keep this one on the watch list just for this scanner, because it's got other stories behind it. Bunch of other stocks on here. Obviously, you can find trades all day. Shout out to our friends at Trade Ideas and Brian Shannon over here helping us with that anchored VWAP scanner. Hi gang, I'm late, says Matt Booth. Better late than never. I think that's how the saying goes. Better late than never. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Now, LZBY was also supposed to come out with earnings. Did they come out already? 4:15. So yeah, we didn't look at LZBY. It's because their volume is pretty low. I kind of was even hesitant to even put it on the watch list, I'll be honest. But with the lack of any stocks really coming out with earnings reports today, Toll Brothers, LZBY, and Urban Outfitters, those are the only three even on the picture over here. Shout out to Earnings Whispers for that goated picture. But here's their website. Notice how no real company is announcing earnings today, except for LZBY, Urban Fitters, and the Toll Brothers. So taking a look at these stocks, looks like a little bit of a drop off coming in on LZBY, but no real volume in the moment for us to take a look at on that position. We'll refresh this page real quick. Refresh that page. Please don't dox me, tell me to log in. It'll be very upsetting if you do that. Okay, you didn't. Thank you. TD Bank. No change, absolute no change, but 5.2 million shares traded on TD Bank. Why? Why my bank? Oh, I guess it's all on the close over there. There's a lot of rebalancing happening right now in the market, and it sucks not to be trading. Sucks not to be trading with an actual prop firm account with prop firm mechanics is what I mean. Because I'm trading with options with small amount of money, but to be taking some of these office ideas, office trades that I've been taught, I would love to be doing that. We can close this picture, tab man. Going back to where was I earlier, about how there's a lack of earnings of your LZBY, Urban, and Toll Brothers. Pretty much hitting all three of them on our watch list. NVIDIA, we talked about that. Tesla, AMC. How can we ignore AMC? I put this one on the watch list for a very specific reason, because it just continues to crumble over here. AMC still struggling. TD is it still is, not was, it still is the most heavily shorted bank in America, or across the world actually. I think it's in the world. Ta-da! Yeah, there we go. Most shorted bank in the world, TD. So shout out to that call out over there. But I'm still in the money on TD. I'm long right here, 78.60 on the Toronto Stock Exchange side. So I'm still in the money. I'm printing. I'm not upset. Their earnings comes out in 2 days. We'll see how this one goes. My best call out last night was Nvidia, and we were very bullish about it. We said, hey, watch out, Nvidia could easily go towards all-time high before earnings and then sell off the all-time high. It gave you that trade. We have tomorrow night earnings move coming out for Nvidia. Look out for this 460 area to come back into play tomorrow on Nvidia, in my opinion. Very key to watch this stock move around tomorrow. The stock has been very active, pretty wild recently actually. Palantir trying to go back to 15. I think we did see 15 breaking today, but a failed break of 15, getting back below 15. We've seen this level 15 and then the level at 17 be very much in play previously, so those levels are coming back once again over here. So watch out for Palantir 15 and then Palantir 17. If we are able to actually get above 15 on Palantir, I'm looking for a possible long off of that area. We talked about Roblox finally moving towards that 52-week low. Let's look out for that 25.50. Possible buying to come in at 25.50 area for Roblox if it does manage to push all the way back down there. But if it doesn't, you know, look for any green signal on this stock to get you long over, to help you out. Someone in the chat said PayPal is dead to me. You know, I used to say things like that. I still say and I still will say things like that. But honestly, if you think about the whole idea is to make money. The whole idea is to look for opportunities to make money. If you don't like it, if you don't care for it, that's fine. But if there's an opportunity for you to make money, when that money hits your bank account, it looks the same. The bank account doesn't know if you made it from a winning trade, that a winning stock that you like or a winning stock that you don't like. It all looks the same. So there's a trade opportunity over here, as we talked about on Palantir a couple moments ago. A couple other stocks I did have on my watch list over here was the Bitcoin sector. PanW recently popped up pretty insanely to the north side. So look out for that one. Ooh, we actually nailed the bottom again on that area today. That triple bottom now coming in. 1, 2, 3, quad bottom almost. If you ignore this level, triple bottom at the moment. Let's look out for that 230 on PanW. Looks like supports are coming in front of 230, and the stock is getting ready to possibly go back up north over here. There was another security stock yesterday. I think it was Sentinel One. The security stock was expecting a possible sale in the future. So like we said, you know, shorts off of this area played out perfectly, down 3.4%, but you got to be careful when you're trading stocks like this. When you're trading stocks like this, that could at any moment come out with a positive catalyst for themselves, meaning, hey, we are getting bought out or whatever. Then the stock immediately pops up to a much higher range. So you want to be very careful. By the triple top on a rumor or a notice that we're looking for a possible sale, brings it to the north side over here, gives you shorts off a beautiful level. Muy clasico trades over there. Absolutely love that setup. GTLB. Is someone home? I think someone might be home. My dog's tripping out. GTLB, you guys know how much I love GitLab. Sadly, not able to hold up above $50 and moving back below to this 41 for. Don't go back below 40. That's all I care about on GTLB. Very illiquid stock for a day trade though, so I wouldn't really suggest anyone to even look at this as a day trade. They pissed me off. They are not in GA. Branches stop in SC. What are you talking about? CIBC over TD. What? Well, I don't even bank with CIBC or TD, so I'm okay with either. Does Kenvue have dividends? Oh, I'm guessing you're talking about. It's everybody's bank. Kenvue, does Kenvue have dividends? KVUE, don't know. It looks like it does. It does have dividends. What is their dividend percentages? Can we see or cancel? Just close that. If you just click on it, it's 20 cents per share. That's their dividends on KView. This is when obviously the spin-off happened. We were looking at the spin-off quite a bit. volume died off drastically, and now volume's coming back in. I mean, this stock is doing 100 million shares, I think, for 3 days back to back. Yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. We were almost above 60, 70. Well, almost above 80 for sure. 70 to 80 million volume every single day. And there's a rebalance incoming very soon on Kenvue. So watch out for a possible spike up to this 50 period EMA on the daily chart around $24. We're currently looking to take out this 2380, 24 area, and a breakout up to 2450 on Kenvue. TD Bank is not in Georgia. It stops in South Carolina. TD Bank is a Canadian bank. It's not even supposed to be in America. Is it in America? I don't even think that TD has any branches in America. They have, like, subsidiaries probably. I know BMO owns a lot of American banks. I know RBC probably owns a couple American banks. TD owns a lot of them, probably through Charles Schwab partnership that they had. But TD Bank, I don't think they even operate in America. TD Ameritrade is different. TD Ameritrade is owned by Charles Schwab. TD Bank is heavy in Jersey, many in Charleston. How's that even possible? How's that even possible? It's a Canadian bank. So it looks like, yeah, it does do that. They have a headquarters in New Jersey. I mean, they probably got a lot of their partnership through the Charles Schwab deal that they had, right? I think TD Ameritrade, this is a Canadian bank, like I said earlier, but TD Ameritrade is not even offered to Canadians. Only Americans use it for the most part. And if you go to the Ameritrade Wikipedia, you will see that this company actually was their own brokerage at one point, and then they sold it to TD, if I remember correctly. I remember reading all this. Yeah, look at this. The company was founded, blah, 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 acquired by TD Waterhouse. That's what it used to be called before. I remember that. TD Waterhouse. And it was still not being sold in Canada. You could not use it as a, I mean, you could, but it wasn't like broadcasted or advertised like the way Quest Trade is, which is what the most go-to Canadian brokerage is advertised out there. But TD Waterhouse bought Ameritrade, renamed to TD Ameritrade with the TD Bank ownership and so on. Blah 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 blah. Eventually they partner up. Look, TD Bank Trade sold TD Ameritrade to Charles Schwab. That was part of the a deal that Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade kind of shook hands together, and that's how TD Bank kind of got more opening into the U.S. banking sector, and that's part of the reason why it's one of the most heavily shorted banks in the world, because of the exposure that it has to American small, I'm sorry for the lack of a better word, but these small garbage banks in America, like Silvergate and Silicon Valley and so on. I might be wrong in even saying this, so take anything I say with a grain of salt over here. Apparently, banks in America just randomly open up and randomly close, taking people's money with them, and the banking sectors and the banking laws are so loose that that's why there's so many banks out there in America. But in Canada, there's not that many banks out there, and the rules and regulations based on money being lent or whatever, yeah, obviously there's loopholes, but the rules and regulations behind money being lent and the way they handle things is just way more strict. That's why the Canadian banking sector has been so irate ironclad, so solid for years and years and years. But now with a lot more American banks closing down, but instead of closing down, what they are doing is selling themselves to Canadian banks. So Bank of America, sorry, not Bank of America, Bank of Montreal, BMO, TD Bank, RBC, all these banks are buying out some of these no-name American banks across America, opening up exposure, and TD was the biggest problem of that deal, and that's why highly shorted bank, and that news drops exactly 3 days later that I buy some TD shares for myself. So just my luck over there that I end up investing in one of the most heavily shorted banks in the world. Just my luck. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think we hit quite a bit of a stocks list today. We ran through the Nvidia trades, we ran through Lowe's, Baidu, DKS, more downside on DKS incoming. I'm going to take some short form clips or whatever later on in the day, put them up on Instagram, put them up on TikTok, put them up on Twitter. Make sure you go follow all of those. And if you did come late to the show, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We do this almost every single day, Monday to Thursday, 4 o'clock. Come hang out with us. We're gonna be doing this until we can't, based on time constraints, and then moving forward we'll see whatever happens. For everyone who was here from start till now, appreciate you. Thank you guys for everything. And for everyone who came on later, come catch me at 4 o'clock. We do a lot of fun stuff. Good night until then. Go have a great time with your friends and family. Post a picture of whatever dinner you're eating on my Twitter post. I'll post a picture of whatever dinner I'm eating. I don't even know what I'm planning to eat. Cook. I'm putting cook in quotes because I'm probably just going to Uber Eats it. So I'll post a picture of whatever I'm eating. Post a picture of whatever you're eating. Or put it in the comments below. Put it in the comments below whatever it is that you're eating. Whatever it is that you're eating for dinner. Catch you guys tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Have a great day on the market tomorrow. Peace. Good night.